I am going to start by introducing Shannon because I'm so excited to be on Instagram Live today on SB Loves. As you guys know, if you've been tuning in, I am only chatting with people that I think are super inspirational, super kick-ass in their fields and with what they do. And Shannon is obviously no exception to that. So in 2002, she founded New York Vintage, which is basically an archive and collection of 100 years of fashion history. It is seriously like a stylist's dream. And since then, she's been catering to designers, stylists, celebrities, editors. She's dressed people for every red carpet, from the Grammys to the Academy Awards, tons and tons of movie and film productions. And there's just this incredibly extensive collection of couture, amazing vintage, both for sale and for rent. So I'm super psyched to talk today about all things fashion and style. Thank you for coming on with me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So to get rolling, what have you been up to?
I'm a teacher now. Homeschooling my girls. It's a full-time job. I have so much respect for teachers more than ever for just the patience, and my mornings are pretty much occupied with that and working. I've been working in my showroom. I usually get here about 6:30 a.m. and then get back home, work with the girls. Lots of training, lots of courses, lots of meditation.
Yeah.
What else? Yeah. A little bit of everything. Just
are you
staying
in
busy.
the showroom every day?
Yeah, I'm in the store every day. Again, I try to get here 6:30, 7 a.m. and just trying to really push online. Get moving with get moving with really making sure that we have a presence online and staying relevant.
Yeah, no, that makes
Yeah.
total sense. And how are you balancing that motivation between homeschooling and the horses and being in the store and getting everything online? How have you been balancing that?
How have I been balancing it? Lots of rosé. I don't know. Having a glass of wine at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. No, I'm kidding. I think Churchill had said, you want something done, you give it to the busiest person, in the office. I think that when you get going, you get going, and if you slow down, we kind of all sink into this, complacency, and it's not, always the best. So the busier I am, the more motivated I am. So that's how I try to keep going. I think that when you slow down, it gets a lot, more difficult. It gets a little dark sometimes. So it's good to really get out, stay busy, get inspired. It's not easy, right now, with what we're all going through.
Yeah.
But you have to do it. Yeah.
No, it's not easy at all. And so what does the process look like getting all of that inventory online?
So I'm so fortunate and grateful that I started this initiative for this online platform a few years ago that I started to build. It's New York Vintage Archive. As you said earlier, we have been a important resource for the fashion industry for many years. And what we did was we launched an online site for for them to be able to access the archive. So it's been really a savior for them. Since we are shut down, they've been able to really, be able to get online and get in and storyboard and get their inspiration together, through New York Vintage Archive. So it's something that I started, and I've been coming in every morning and just continuing to upload product and get pieces up there.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a long process, but definitely nice that you got a jump on it a couple of years ago. And so on that note, obviously there's a lot of changes happening in retail and in store structure. And it's like every day I hear about another major retailer, what the, going bankrupt.
So sad.
It's so sad. So how do you think we're going to come out of this, and what's that new retail experience going to look like for people?
Well, first I want to say, like, there never has been any stability in any change, however you look at it. And it's not a comfortable place, for any of us. And we don't always have the courage to really initiate that, but we really haven't had a choice in this instance. So, I think that, it's just about navigating, navigating together, through this. It's trying. It's not easy. But I think now more than ever, what this experience, what this crisis has done for all of us is it's forced us to realize that we really need to come together, not just as a fashion community, but just we have to take an initiative to be responsible and to continue to work for a greater cause. So I think that right now more than ever, as things do get back up and running, for me at least, it's about aligning myself with other brands, supporting other brands, and coming together to give back for a greater cause. So aligning to support people that have been affected by this, or like whatever the organization is, but just working together and aligning with other brands to support each other and to give back to people that have been severely impacted by COVID. So
I think that's so remarkable that you're thinking about others and how you can help during this time, because I feel that for us to all come out of this in fighting form, we have to bond together and lean on each other and share resources and have conversations like this to spread awareness about what's going on in these very specific industries, whether it be our friends in the food industry or the branding industry, wherever they are. Everyone is feeling the effects of this.
Absolutely. This has showed us that none of us are alone in any of this. And it's not about like my aspirations alone as a business. It's about really uniting and coming together and doing whatever I can to support other businesses like mine, and in the process giving back to the community. It's our responsibility, and I think that's what's going to happen with fashion, is that it's we have to be responsible. Things are going to become more and more and more transparent, and I think earlier you had asked the question. I think that for the time being and for quite some time, we're going to be working digitally. I mean, we're in the fourth technological revolution. This is something that has been happening for a while. Fashion was in trouble before COVID, and and again, like we're now in a position where we've been kind of forced to to deal with everything. The universe has forced us to come to a place where we have to deal with it. We don't have a choice.
Yeah, in one of these conversations on SB Loves the other day, Jacqueline Johnson was saying that she's noticed that for businesses, it's like you have to start looking at multiple streams of revenue instead of just one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have to have multiple doors for sure. And again, that goes back to aligning yourself with other brands, and coming together and working together. Absolutely. It can't be one source. Not anymore.
Absolutely. Well, I think fortunately and unfortunately, as things continue to shift and more businesses maybe don't survive this time, we'll be a lot more selective about how we curate our wardrobes and looking for those more unique and special pieces. And on that note, I think that vintage is really coming into the forefront more than it has in the past couple of years in terms of sustainability, but also personal style, because you're going to wear something that not every single fashion blogger is wearing right now from Zara or one of those fast fashion retailers. So what are your thoughts on sort of vintage in this new moment in time?
I don't think that the desire to wear vintage has ever really gone away. I think that more than ever people are as you said, very interested in being more sustainable and and having more of an eco approach to what it is they're wearing, because it is the responsible thing to do, and there's just been so much out there, so used clothing, resale clothing is been on the rise for quite some time now. Yeah,
it has, but I think it's going to boom even more so when people can be out in the world again and not behind our computers, like seeing only this much. And on that, how do you think that style will evolve out of this? Because right now everybody's hanging out in their athleisure, which we have been for a long time, but now we're sitting behind screens, we're seeing very little of an outfit. So when we're really released back into public, what do you think is going to change?
That Schiaparelli had, there's a great quote by Schiaparelli. It was that in difficult times, fashion has always been known to be outrageous. So we could see, we could see some of that. I mean, I personally would like to see people walking around in like superhero, attire, having gone through all this. Um, um, what's gonna happen in terms of what people are wearing. I think that fashion is it's a visual language, right? And we all know that when we put something on, we're we feel one way or another. So it's just I think that people will continue to to dress and have fun with it. It will come back. This is not forever. And I think that as scary as this whole experience has been for everyone, we will rebound and come back. Again, it's a visual language, and it's something that will never go away. It elicits whatever emotion and that you're feeling, and it's something that we'll get back to for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you think the rental business will sort of change or evolve? So I've been looking, I keep receiving all these documents about production and what it will be like when it reopens in terms of fitting and dressing actors and models, and also making sure that the clothing is, germ free, all that is going to come with reopening the production world. Do you have any thoughts on that? Because I know it's tricky, right? Like,
I think it's just offering insurance, you know what I mean, to your, just really protecting your, your clients like that, that awareness has been, instilled in us more than ever. So I think that just taking precautionary measures to make sure that everything is sanitized and and safe. It's fine. It really, our rental business is still going, and fortunately we've still have been able to operate through all of this. So I think it'll continue to go strong. It's just about, again, really communicating with your clients and letting them know that all measures are taken for their safety.
yeah. It's funny. I was talking to a makeup artist the other day, and we were looking at those guys. She was even saying that anyone who works in production is following this anyway. We're always careful with how we deal with the clothing.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, interact with people on set and all of that. So it's pretty interesting. Do you have any pre-COVID, what's like your greatest memory of wearing something in recent times where you just felt different? Sometimes you put something on and you feel different.
There's so there's been so many fun events that I've been to pre-COVID. I've always loved going to Linda Fargo, and she's like my partner in crime to all these Halloween events. Halloween's one of my favorite holidays, so love getting dressed for those types of occasions, and just being like outrageous and having fun with it. So I would say, like, the Halloween part, I went to a studio. It was like great fun. I did an event with Donna Karen and got to get, to dress over the top for that. So, lots of fun events that I've attended where, I could really, be crazy and have fun with it.
Yeah, I can't wait to dress up again. It's going to be so nice. So let's talk about trend cycles, because right now with all the, spring, summer 2020 trends, it's almost like, did they ever actually happen? Because people might be buying them, but nobody is.
I think that we're dealing. Yeah, I think that right now what's happening is that there's a lot of, everybody's sitting on inventory right now. Backstock, productions are on hold. So, I'm not really sure, to answer, to answer that question. Like on the trend side of it, on the retail side of it, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what, like what productions have been, like put out. Everything seems to have been put on hold.
Yeah, maybe we'll just carry them on for a little bit longer than usual. You know, maybe they'll just
Yeah.
we'll trends in the fall and next spring, summer.
Oh, yeah. Let's pray for it. I hope so.
Hope so too.
I
So
hope so.
what's inspiring you these days? Are you reading anything or looking at anything, watching anything that's keeping you inspired?
Yeah, I mean, I've been binge watching Netflix just like everybody else. I've never really watched, TV prior to this in my life. I was never, I never had the time for it. Ozark was, incredible. It's probably my all-time favorite. Unorthodox was another one. So just, catching up on, a lot of these fun, Netflix series. Reading, I haven't gotten into anything, but I hope to this summer, out east. I'm going out east this weekend with the girls, and, hoping to just kind of lay on the beach and read a little bit. But I've been so busy with their online school that I haven't, really had that time to myself. For my personal time, I'm like training, whenever I can. So
Yeah,
lots of that going on. Yeah, getting outside in the park. And I have a few trainers that I still work with and, in a careful way.
sure.
So doing that, yeah, and there's still, uh, you know, I'm into bikes, so in flat track racing and all of that. So getting out, there's a place out in Long Island that I'm going to, just riding a little bit, and my kids have a horse, so doing that. So all of
You,
that,
you still boxing?
I'm sorry.
Are you still boxing?
Yeah, I trained this morning. And I'm boxing. Shout out to my coach, Lenny Wilson and Michael Lajide. They're, incredible. And they've, really kept me going and motivated and training for masters next year now, probably with all this. But yeah, I'm doing it as much as I can.
Super cool. And
Yeah.
so what's on your post-quarantine bucket list? I mean, everyone's saying they can't wait for hugs and they can't wait for drinks with friends and parties. And so what are you looking forward to the most when New York is really open again?
The first thing I'm going to do is rent an RV and drive down to Florida to my coach, Johnny Lewis, his racetrack. And I'm going to take the kids with me and just drive down to Florida in the RV and just like camp out on his property. He has two racetracks and just do some flat track racing. I'm going to teach my oldest daughter how to ride, on a little 80 or something. And my bike's down there and I miss it. So
Oh, that's
that's the
so
first,
cool.
that's the first thing.
How old are the girls?
7, 10, and 13.
Okay. So the
Yeah.
13-year-old will learn.
Yeah. The 13-year-old will learn to ride. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and so over the next year, what can we hope to see from New York Vintage? Obviously more online presence and what else?
Yeah, so we're just gonna keep building the archive site. We are launching an e-com site. We've had so many requests for people to be able to buy, which we never had. So we are, in the next month or so, launching e-com, so people will have access to the retail store as well. Um, and just to continue to expand the archive site, on a global scale. And just everything is service. It's just offering that service, um, making it accessible, and getting more and more involved in fitness. Also, I mean, health and wellness is a big part of my life right now. New York Vintage really has run itself for quite some time, so I can branch off and do a little more in fitness. I have friends that have a safari company in Kenya, so I'm going to go and train with them for a little bit, I hope. Yeah, so a little bit of fitness and more of New York Vintage.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's so amazing. Well, I have to share with you a quick New York Vintage story. So
Yeah.
a couple of years ago, I came and bought a like 1980s YSL big shoulder pad blazer from New York Vintage. And when I was back in my apartment a couple of weeks ago, because I've been kind of camping out upstate during this whole time, I opened my closet and I was visiting my clothes and I saw that blazer hanging there and I was like,
Oh,
I can't wait to put that on again. See, and Megan
yeah, well,
she remembers. But it's like these pieces just stay with you for a lifetime. And I think that's what's so cool about, sourcing really unique finds that not everyone has and you can just love them forever. So those are my passions.
yeah, no, absolutely. It's definitely more personal and you get more wear out of vintage. It's not like fashion today is not what it was in the 50s. I mean, you have seam allowance. If you want to alter a piece, you can take it in, you can let it out. We've all put on pounds through all of this. You know what I mean? It's like, oops, let me open up that Ozzy Clark dress just a little bit. But yeah, absolutely. It's you know, it's again, it's you know, visual language that really, you know, speaks to how you're feeling on any given day. You know, we all know how we feel, and you know, like wearing different, you know, wearing our athleisure or wearing, you know, like I said, an Aussie Clark dress. It's just you know, it's a mood.
Totally. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, it's a mood.
I'm so happy that you came on to chat with me today. I think this was
Yeah, absolutely.
really inspiring.
Where's Megan? Come say hi to Samantha. Megan's here with me today. Ah. We're quarantining right now. We're quarantining.
I love that. Hi. So guys, tuning in, if you have been to New York Vintage, this is totally the experience. It's like a family. You walk in,
We have fun.
like the knowledge of every single thing in the archives. It is just so
She's
much
yeah.
fun.
Megan is like an encyclopedia. She knows the archive like the back of her. I mean, I even during quarantine, I've called her because I've had requests on items, and I'm like, do you know if you know, like this specific thing is in stock? She's like, yeah, it's upstairs, far left rack, in between. You know, I'm like, just like, oh. And then I've had you know, other requests, and she's like, no, we sold that, like, you know, to Miley Cyrus in 2000 whatever. So she knows everything. I'm like, thank God for Megan.
Yeah, she's on
Yeah,
it.
she's got it.
Before we just got a question that came in. Where are the pieces sourced from? And I know that's a longer-winded answer, but
Oh,
where do
okay.
they come from?
Well, before you know, you know, before you know, the advent of, like, you know, buying online and you know, and e-com, I would travel everywhere. I mean, I was all over the world, so I acquired, you know, a large part of my permanent archive, you know, through my travels, you know, 20 years ago. You know, in the last decade, I've purchased a lot from private collections. You know, many, you know, important iconic pieces like, you know, Versace and McQueen, et cetera, you know, from private collections. Museums often have deaccessions, where they're, you know, where they deaccess, you know, historical fashion. So you know, we would buy those pieces through auction. You know, if I ever have the time, you know, I'll scour through, you know, the internet trying to find, you know, like those rarities. It's harder and harder to really acquire anything without paying like a premium for it. Anything, you know, that has any, you know, historical significance. But you know, a little bit of everywhere.
Yeah.
But again, it's very transparent now. It's not like it was 20 years ago where you can find a Fortuny dress, you know, at a flea market. You know what I mean? It's not, it's, you know, like those days are, you know, long, you know, long behind us.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, for everyone tuning in, I highly recommend that you check out New York Vintage both
Oh,
online and in store when we are allowed back out. And Shannon, thank you so much. It was so good to see you.
so great to see you, hun. Yeah, I hope to see you really, really soon. We'll have some rosé soon.
Please. And thank you everyone for tuning in. Have a
Thank
good
you. Bye, honey. Bye.